I may have to break this lesson into part 1 and part 2, especially with the design part in there. Please bear with me, and I would appreciate you watching both parts if possible, so that you can see how the design ends and how colors really shift where you look. This video is all about my October favorites. And when I did my September favorites, I asked if you wanted to learn a little bit more about design. I'm going to talk design first before we go about painting. So these are my elements for October. I have a little acorn. I have a little dog from Hobby Lobby. Isn't he cute? I have a little apple. And the apple was orange. I want it to really be kind of a red orange, so I just pulled something orange so that we can fool around with color. And then I have a really tall leaf. This leaf I just really like because of its color. It's like lack of color really. It's a little bit green, but it's more on almost a whitish kind of green, so I like that. And then I've got my 10 colors. And what I did was I just put 10 colors on a strip, wrote the color names, and then I cut them all out so they were about the same size. That way I can kind of place them where I want them and see if I like the layout or not. When I'm starting with something like this, the color chips are the last thing that I'm going to do because they're small and I can make them fit just about anywhere. The same with the acorn. I mean, look how much difference that is in this little square compared to these bigger elements. I have to be happy with these big elements first before I go about the small ones. For right now, I'm just going to push these aside. And you'll notice that this head and this apple is pretty much the same size, really. It's a big ball that's going to take up a lot of space. So what I want to do is not make them on even planes. So I don't want to put it here and here at the same level. You know, I can alter it and just look how much, let me get this leaf out of the way. So if I put them here, look how much space they take up. It is a big area because they are so fat. Now watch when I just move the apple down a little bit. Do you see how it broke up the space? Again, I'm going to put it up there. Look how heavy the space is, and look how much lighter. Okay, so I can put this up, and let's move him down. Do you see what a difference that makes? Again, I'm going to put him up. Again, you're looking at a whole shape here, and then I'm going to pull him down. So that is the first thing. Always look at the size and shapes of your things. You know, if everything was rectangular, then it's going to be harder. If everything is circular, it's going to be harder. So I didn't even think about it when I pulled these two until I started designing, but I really wanted them in there, so I just left them. It's good to challenge yourself every now and then. And then the leaf is totally different. You can see it is quite wide. It's about the width of both of them, which presents another problem. Because let's say we do this, I really don't want them all on the same plane. By the plane, I mean the same area right there, okay? Because you can see that creates a giant horizontal line. I do not want that. So the first thing that this tells me is this leaf should go up and down. Just because you see now it's small, it's a little bigger, and it's bigger. That makes a little bit of difference. When I started playing, I was like, where do I like the leaf first? Because remember, those other two are alike, but they have to share different areas, remember, either up or down. First of all, I want to see what I did last month. Okay, I had a high corner and a low corner. I'm trying not to repeat my designs. I don't want to place it down here, and I don't want to place it up here, because those will mimic last month's. So if I was to put it here, what kind of area does that give me? It kind of sweeps in, which is nice. I could lay it like this too, so it would either sweep out this way, or you can pull your eye back this way. By that I mean this. Let me find my color chips here. So if I put a light color there, you see that doesn't really demand your attention. But if I put a dark spot here, where do you look next? So do you go to the light or do you go to the dark? This is called direction by color or value. When you are looking at things, now watch when I switch them. Where are you looking? You see the difference, right? Now watch what happens when I put a red there. What pulls your attention more? Is it the red or is it the dark of the green? Where do you go first? And this is going to be a personal choice. Some people really, red draws their eyes. Some people, red detracts, right? So it just really depends on what you like. If you are someone who really likes red, you're going to automatically go to the red. Like I really prefer more yellow, so I go to yellow here instead of the red. But you can see how that pulls your direction. Definitely pulls it from there to there. Think about that when we go to do colors. I could put the leaf in the middle and I could put it straight up. Let's try something like this. Now we've got to bring our big fat heads, right? Let's just put one here and let's put one here. Now I want you to see what that kind of did. It kind of creates still a horizontal line because of the fat head here and the roundness of this. But look what it did. It almost made it even spaced. And that's not good for any kind of design. Although we could put a bunch of these here. We could scatter a few, let's scatter the lighter ones here. You can see how we broke it up, but is one weighing more? So do you look somewhere first? Does it feel heavier? Like this guy having all of this area around and he's fairly light. He almost gets lost in this page where I am really looking at this area here because of the dark spots. But if you are a red orange person, you are probably looking over here because of all the color. Color is an important thing. I wouldn't put this in the middle. For me, I just don't like a center design that's very much equal in both space and distance in between here. I'm going to move him up here. And now let's play with these two objects. Do I want him in the center and maybe him up here? I call everything a him, sorry about that. Now what does it do to your eye? To me, it really just bounces you from here to here to here. Even though this is curved up, it could curve you down and around. Let me do this. Do you see how now it kind of pulls your eye around? And that's because I chose all of the dark colors to do that. If they were lighter colors, where do you really look? I look over here first because of that little white one here. Let's flip that one. Now where do you go? Where are you looking first? Now I follow the leaf this way to the, I almost bypass that and go to the orange, and then I go down to the dog. That's a way to create movement or the way that your eye moves. I always think about eyes and the flow of the design. I am always thinking, okay, am I going around in circles? Am I seeing everything? Am I spending equal time everywhere? That's what I try to do. If we move him over here and move the apple over here, now how is that kind of feeling to you? It leaves a lot of open space here, which we can fill with colors, but it feels okay in the proportions. I like that this kind of leads you here. He's kind of taller, and then you kind of look down here. Or you can start here, go around, and that will lead you back over here. Again, it's the flow. What are you wanting your flow to be? And what really is the star of the show? What are you wanting us to concentrate on? That's important too. So think about, you always have a star and then you have the cast. If he's the star, how are you going to make him stand out? If this is the star, how are you going to make it stand out? Think about that as well. But here's actually what I did. I actually moved the apple down here. I have him kind of in the middle. And I liked that placement. The reason is I think this adds a heaviness to this color. And I like this area combined because to me, it is about the fall colors. And it's about the leaves and the season changing. He is very cute, but he is not the star of the show. This area here is the star of my show. He's going to steal it because of the cuteness, but this is going to steal it because of the weight. You can feel it's a little heavier because it's bolder. He's a little lighter in coloration. He doesn't really demand your attention. But also I'm going to have this apple as like a bright red or a bright orange. I'm not sure yet which one. And then this is going to be much lighter. It's going to really demand your attention. Let me pull you to my page and show you how I've laid it out. What I did here was concentrate all of the bright colors here, and I left the really unobtrusive ones, although there is a dark one here. And this, I have him sitting on like a tree trunk with a mushroom. What I need to do to pull your eye, because look where I don't have a dot and look where I have a heavy dot. I wanted your eye movement to go from down here to up here to these dark colors and then move to over here. I have a mushroom leaning this way. I have a stump here. I'm looking at this as just pulling your eye forward and up. When it gets up here, it will probably follow the little dog ears and go back to the leaf. It's kind of going all through the design is the way that I'm looking at it. I hope that made sense. It takes a while to understand design and composition, and this is something I've done for over 20 years. Please be kind for yourself, like, how did she think of that? It's just that this is one of my favorite things is design and composition, and I love playing with pieces like this and finding which way the flow goes and how I'm liking it better, and it helps when you have little elements to play with. If you take pictures of these things, which is great, take pictures and then cut them out just like I have the paint chips here, and that will give you more ways to play around with them instead of actual pieces, because sometimes the bulk of them is not the same as having a flat object. Like here I painted him, so I could actually cut him out and put him here and see he's less weight now than having this heavy guy there. Anytime you can, take pictures of your items and just print them out and print them on copy paper and just cut them out and move them around. That is how I started designing, by moving everything and tracing it on tracing paper and cutting them out and just moving them around till I was happy with it. Be kind to yourself and just know it's a process. It's a learning process. It's something new, so it's going to take time before it all clicks. And one day you'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even really think about it. I just did it and it's pleasing to my eye and I love it. Just know it's a process that will take a little bit of time. If you were inspired by today's content, please like, comment, or subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.